Welcome to WebLizard's Cert Lab. This is SC-900 Practice Exam 3, using the SC-900 skills measured as of July 28, 2026. You will work through 45 applied security, compliance, identity, Microsoft Defender, and Microsoft Purview scenarios. For each question, trace the requirement, service boundary, identity surface, and control mechanism before choosing. How this practice exam works. You will hear each complete question and every answer option. For matching questions, you will hear both sides of the match. After the cue, lock in your answer, there is a true 3-second silence. Then the correct answer appears in place, followed by the reason and a reusable exam clue. Pause whenever you want more thinking time. Question 1. A SOC sees related endpoint, email, and identity alerts that form one coordinated attack. Analysts need a native Microsoft security experience that correlates these product signals into one incident and coordinates automated investigation and response across the participating Defender workloads. Which service provides this XDR layer? Answer A, Microsoft Defender XDR. Answer B, Microsoft Sentinel. Answer C, Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Answer D, Microsoft Purview. Lock in your answer. The supported response is A, Microsoft Defender XDR. Microsoft Defender XDR correlates signals from supported endpoint, identity, email, and application security products into unified incidents and coordinates investigation and response across those workloads. Native correlation of endpoint, email, identity, and application security signals into one cross-domain instant identifies Defender XDR. Question 2. An enterprise is establishing its primary cloud identity platform to handle authentication for employees, single sign-on across Microsoft 365 and Azure workloads, conditional access policy evaluation, and risk-based protection for user and device identities. Every new tenant automatically includes this service as the foundational directory. Which Entra family member fulfills this core directory and access management role? Answer A, Microsoft Entra Domain Services. Answer B, Microsoft Entra ID. Answer C, Microsoft Entra External ID. Answer D, Microsoft Entra Workload ID. Lock in your answer. Foundational directory automatically included in every tenant, providing authn-z, SSO, conditional access, and protection for internal users/design/app. Distinguishes Entra ID from domain services, legacy, external ID, CIAM, or workload ID, app identities. Microsoft Entra ID is the foundational cloud-based identity and access management service that every Microsoft 365, Azure, or Dynamics CRM online tenant receives by default. Select B, Microsoft Entra ID. It provides authentication, SSO, policy enforcement, and integrates with the broader Entra family for zero trust access controls. Question 3. A data governance team needs visibility into which specific files, emails, and sites currently carry sensitivity labels, plus a log of recent label application events and DLP policy matches to evaluate coverage before creating new policies. They do not need legal preservation or broad event logging. Which Purview explorers deliver exactly this classification and activity visibility? Answer A, eDiscovery Content Search and Holds. Answer B, Audit Search in Microsoft Purview. Answer C, Content Explorer and Activity Explorer. Answer D, Insider Risk Management Cases. Lock in your answer. Content Explorer shows items that have been labeled or classified. Activity Explorer shows label and DLP events and matches. The best fit is C, Content Explorer and Activity Explorer. Visibility into currently labeled/classified items plus label and DLP event activity distinguishes Content Explorer and Activity Explorer from eDiscovery, legal preservation, audit, event logging, or insider risk, behavioral scoring. Together, they provide visibility and monitoring of information protection without the legal or logging focus of other tools. Question 4. An organization wants security controls arranged so that compromise of any single layer, such as the network perimeter, does not automatically expose data or identities. They require independent protective layers spanning physical facilities, network controls, host hardening, applications, data encryption, and identity verification. Which security strategy implements this layered protection model? Answer A, Zero Trust model. Answer B, Shared Responsibility model. Answer C, Governance, Risk, and Compliance, GRC framework. Answer D, Defense in Depth. Lock in your answer. Defense in Depth deploys multiple layers of security controls across the stack: physical, network, host, app, data, identity, so that a breach in one layer does not compromise the entire asset. Multiple independent layers across physical to identity stack, so breach of one does not compromise the asset. Uniquely identifies defense in depth. Zero Trust emphasizes verification and assume breach. Shared responsibility is MS/customer split. GRC is policy/risk framework. Use D, defense in depth. Question 5. A security team requires protection specifically for email, Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, and OneDrive against advanced phishing, business email compromise, impersonation attacks, and malware in attachments or links, including safe attachments scanning and safe links rewriting. This must go beyond baseline anti-spam and anti-malware included in all cloud mailboxes. Which service provides these email and collaboration-focused capabilities? Answer A, Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Answer B, Exchange Online Protection, EOP. Answer C, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Answer D, Microsoft Defender for Identity. Lock in your answer. Option B is tempting, but Exchange Online Protection, EOP, provides the built-in baseline anti-spam, anti-malware, anti-phishing, spoofing, and quarantine features included with all cloud mailboxes. It lacks the advanced impersonation, safe attachments, links, and hunting features of Defender for Office 365. Use A, Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Microsoft Defender for Office 365 delivers advanced email and collaboration protection, including impersonation protection, safe attachments, safe links, and post-breach investigation features on top of the built-in EOP capabilities. Question 6. A smart city operator wants to inventory and govern AI agents as a distinct class of non-human identity, apply least privilege access, and audit agent activity. Which Microsoft Entra capability is purpose-built for this agent identity lifecycle? Answer A, Microsoft Entra Workload ID. Answer B, Microsoft Entra Agent ID. Answer C, Microsoft Entra External ID. Answer D, Microsoft Entra ID. Lock in your answer. Microsoft Entra Agent ID is the purpose-built capability for discovering, authenticating, authorizing, governing, and protecting AI agent identities at enterprise scale. Select B, Microsoft Entra Agent ID. Purpose-built governed identity lifecycle for AI agents distinguishes Entra Agent ID. Question 7. A pharmaceutical company's compliance team requires that highly sensitive clinical trial documents carry persistent encryption and visual markings that remain enforced even when the files are downloaded, emailed externally, or stored in partner SharePoint sites, with the protection metadata traveling with the content itself. Which Purview capability delivers this content-embedded persistent protection mechanism? Answer A, Microsoft Purview DLP policies. Answer B, Microsoft Purview retention labels. Answer C, Microsoft Purview sensitivity labels. Answer D, Microsoft Purview eDiscovery. Lock in your answer. Use C, Microsoft Purview sensitivity labels. Sensitivity labels apply persistent classification, encryption, markings, and permissions that travel with content metadata. Persistent encryption and markings traveling with content identify sensitivity labels. Use the service boundary, identity type, governance outcome, or protection layer as the decision point. Question 8. A bank is replacing network location trust with a zero trust access model. Which two design choices align directly with zero trust principles? Choose 2. Answer A. Verify access explicitly using available identity, device, location, and risk signals. Answer B. Use least privilege access and reduce standing privilege through controls such as just-in-time access. Answer C. Use network location as the principal trust signal for internal requests. Answer D. Permit broad standing access after a user completes MFA. Answer E. Rely on cloud provider controls instead of customer access policies. Lock in your answer. Option C is tempting, but zero trust does not grant implicit trust based on network location. The correct pair is A and B. A. Verify access explicitly using available identity, device, location, and risk signals. B. Use least privilege access and reduce standing privilege through controls such as just-in-time access. Zero trust is based on verify explicitly, use least privilege access, and assume breach. It evaluates available signals for each access decision and limits privilege rather than trusting network location or perimeter controls alone. Question 9. A logistics company's IT security team needs advanced behavioral EDR, attack surface reduction, and integrated vulnerability management focused specifically on the Windows and Linux endpoints used by drivers and warehouse staff, with these signals correlating into the unified Defender XDR incidents for endpoint to email attack tracing, rather than server posture or broad log correlation. Which Microsoft security solution provides this dedicated endpoint protection and EDR capability? Answer A. Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Answer B. Microsoft Sentinel. Answer C. Microsoft Defender for Office 365. Answer D. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Lock in your answer. Behavioral EDR, attack surface reduction, and vulnerability management focused on endpoints identifies Defender for Endpoint. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint is the dedicated EDR, NGAV, attack surface reduction, and vulnerability management platform for endpoints. Choose D, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint. Question 10. A construction company maintains an on-premises Active Directory for project management systems and needs to provide employees with seamless access to both those legacy apps and new Azure DevOps and SharePoint resources in the cloud, using synchronization to maintain a single identity without mandating password hash sync for all scenarios. Which Entra capability establishes this bridged identity environment between on-premises and cloud directories? Answer A, Microsoft Entra Hybrid Identity, Entra Connect Sync. Answer B, Microsoft Entra External ID. Answer C, Microsoft Entra Conditional Access. Answer D, Microsoft Entra Privileged Identity Management. Lock in your answer. Microsoft Entra Hybrid Identity is the capability that creates and maintains a common identity across on-premises Active Directory domain services and Microsoft Entra ID. A common identity maintained across on-premises ADDS and Microsoft Entra ID through provisioning and synchronization identifies Microsoft Entra Hybrid Identity. Do not infer a specific sync implementation unless the stem names it. Use A. Microsoft Entra Hybrid Identity, Entra Connect Sync. Synchronization can be implemented with Microsoft Entra Cloud Sync or Microsoft Entra Connect Sync. The stem does not select one implementation. Question 11. A company needs to inspect sensitive information, such as credit card numbers and health records, across Exchange, SharePoint, OneDrive, Teams, and managed endpoint devices. The same policy engine must audit, warn, restrict, or block risky sharing based on content and user activity. Which Microsoft Purview capability provides this protection? Answer A, Microsoft Purview sensitivity labels. Answer B, Microsoft Purview data loss prevention. Answer C, Microsoft Purview insider risk management. Answer D, Microsoft Purview records management. Lock in your answer. Deep content inspection plus policy actions at boundaries, email, devices, web, plus sensitive info types distinguishes DLP from labels, protect/classify, retention, lifecycle, or eDiscovery, legal preservation. DLP policies identify sensitive content using classifiers such as sensitive information types, then monitor and apply protective actions at supported locations and transmission boundaries. Choose B, Microsoft Purview data loss prevention. They are the policy enforcement layer, distinct from classification labels and retention. Question 12. Match each security requirement with the most appropriate cryptographic concept. Item 1. Protect data so an authorized party can later recover the original plaintext. Item 2. Create a fixed representation used to detect whether a file changed. Item 3. Store a password verifier without storing a reversibly encrypted password. Item 4. Protect application traffic from interception while it crosses a network. Description 1. One-way password hashing. Description 2. Encryption in transit. Description 3. Cryptographic hashing for integrity. Description 4. Reversible encryption. Lock in your answer. Connect each requirement to its matching concept. Item 1 maps to reversible encryption. Item 2 maps to cryptographic hashing for integrity. Item 3 maps to one-way password hashing. Item 4 maps to encryption in transit. Need plaintext recovery? Encryption. Need one-way comparison or integrity? Hashing. Need network confidentiality? Encryption in transit. Encryption is reversible with the proper key and protects confidentiality. Question 13. A healthcare organization discovers that clinicians are accessing unsanctioned SaaS collaboration tools that store patient records and requires visibility into all cloud app usage, shadow IT discovery, the ability to apply real-time session controls, OAuth app governance for third-party integrations, and behavioral anomaly detection for risky data access patterns across multiple SaaS providers. Which Microsoft security solution provides these CASB capabilities for SaaS app discovery, data protection, and threat analytics? Answer A, Microsoft Defender for Endpoint, delivering EDR, attack surface reduction, and vulnerability management focused on endpoint devices. Answer B, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, providing CSPM posture assessments and CWPP runtime protection for Azure and multi-cloud resources. Answer C, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, providing CASB visibility, session controls, OAuth governance, and anomaly detection across sanctioned and unsanctioned SaaS applications. Answer D, Microsoft Sentinel as the cloud-native SIEM SOAR platform for broad log ingestion, KQL analytics, and incident response playbooks. Lock in your answer. Use C, Microsoft Defender for Cloud Apps, providing CASB visibility, session controls, OAuth governance, and anomaly detection across sanctioned and unsanctioned SaaS applications. Defender for Cloud Apps is the dedicated CASB solution that discovers cloud apps in use, provides visibility and control over data in those apps, governs OAuth consents, and detects anomalies in SaaS usage patterns across multi-cloud environments. Shadow IT, SaaS discovery, plus session controls, plus OAuth app governance, plus anomaly detection on cloud app usage uniquely identifies Defender for Cloud Apps, CASB, from endpoint protection, cloud posture, or SIEM SOAR. Question 14. An organization is selecting Microsoft Entra sign-in mechanisms. Executives need phishing-resistant, passwordless authentication, while another user population must authenticate with trusted certificates. Which capability category contains the mechanisms that prove these users' identities? Answer A. Microsoft Entra Conditional Access. Answer B. Microsoft Entra Privileged Identity Management. Answer C. Microsoft Entra ID Protection. Answer D. Microsoft Entra Authentication Methods. Lock in your answer. Microsoft Entra authentication methods are the mechanisms used to prove identity, including passkeys or FIDO2 security keys, certificate-based authentication, Windows Hello for Business, Microsoft Authenticator, and other MFA methods. D satisfies the requirement. Microsoft Entra authentication methods. FIDO2 or passkeys and certificate-based authentication are authentication methods. Conditional access is the policy layer that can require them. Conditional access decides when particular authentication strength or methods are required. Question 15. A regulated pharmaceutical company must declare specific clinical trial contracts as immutable records with automatic restrictions on editing, deletion, and label removal, plus generate exportable proof of disposition when the retention period ends for audit and regulatory demonstration. Which Purview capability provides record declaration, immutability controls, and disposition validation distinct from general retention scheduling? Answer A. Microsoft Purview Records Management. Answer B. Microsoft Purview Retention Policies. Answer C. Microsoft Purview Data Loss Prevention. Answer D. Microsoft Purview eDiscovery. Lock in your answer. Option B is tempting, but standard retention policies control keep-delete schedules, but do not impose the additional immutability, edit-delete blocks, or mandatory disposition proof required for formal records. The answer is A. Microsoft Purview Records Management. Records management uses specially configured retention labels to declare items as records or regulatory records, imposing strict immutability, access restrictions, activity logging, and disposition proof that general retention labels do not provide. Question 16. An organization must establish executive ownership and accountability for data protection decisions, systematically identify and assess cyber and operational threats to prioritize mitigation, and demonstrate verifiable adherence to regulations such as HIPAA and standards like ISO 27001 through documented policies, audits, and reporting. Which organizational framework directly addresses these requirements for directing security strategy, managing risk decisions, and meeting mandated compliance obligations? Answer A. Microsoft Defender for Cloud Secure Score. Answer B. Governance, Risk, and Compliance, GRC. Answer C. Microsoft Purview Data Loss Prevention. Answer D. Microsoft Entra Conditional Access. Lock in your answer. GRC establishes the organizational layer of accountability, governance, threat identification and response planning, risk management, and adherence to external requirements, compliance. Executive accountability plus risk identification, assessment, response, and monitoring, plus regulatory adherence, HIPAA and ISO, uniquely identifies GRC framework. Technical tools like SecureScore, DLP, or CA implement, but do not constitute the organizational GRC layer. The decisive answer is B. Governance, Risk, and Compliance, GRC. It operates above specific technical controls and is distinct from posture tools, enforcement policies, or access engines. Question 17. A hybrid environment with on-premises Active Directory domain controllers and Microsoft Entra ID requires detection of reconnaissance activity, credential compromise attempts, and lateral movement by attackers targeting privileged accounts and service accounts. Sensors must be deployed on AD infrastructure to capture network and event signals for behavioral analytics, with results correlated into unified incidents in the Microsoft Defender portal. Which Microsoft solution provides this hybrid identity threat detection, investigation, and response capability? Answer A. Microsoft Entra ID protection for cloud sign-in and user risk detection. Answer B. Microsoft Sentinel that ingests logs from multiple sources for KQL-based analytics and SOAR playbooks across the entire environment. Answer C. Microsoft Defender for Identity that monitors on-premises Active Directory and Entra ID signals using sensors and behavioral analytics to detect the full identity attack lifecycle. Answer D. Microsoft Defender for Endpoint that provides EDR, attack surface reduction, and vulnerability management focused on devices and endpoints. Lock in your answer. On-premises AD sensors plus hybrid Entra integration plus behavioral detection of reconnaissance, compromised creds, lateral movement, AD dominance distinguishes Defender for Identity from cloud-only Entra ID protection, broad SIM Sentinel, or device-focused endpoint protection. Defender for Identity specializes in hybrid identity protection by deploying lightweight sensors on AD domain controllers and integrating with Entra ID to detect reconnaissance, compromised credentials, lateral movement, and domain dominance attacks using behavioral analytics and threat intelligence, feeding directly into the unified Defender portal. The best fit is C. Microsoft Defender for Identity that monitors on-premises Active Directory and Entra ID signals using sensors and behavioral analytics to detect the full identity attack lifecycle. Question 18. Which two sign-in sequences use factors from different authentication categories and therefore meet the basic definition of multi-factor authentication? Choose two. Answer A. A password followed by a separate account PIN with both values memorized by the user. Answer B. Two different passwords entered at consecutive prompts. Answer C. A password followed by approval from a registered authenticator app on the user's phone. Answer D. A password entered from a device that is marked compliant. Answer E. A fingerprint followed by use of a registered FIDO2 security key. Lock in your answer. Option A is tempting, but a password and a memorized PIN are both knowledge factors, so using both does not create multiple factor categories. Choose C and E. C. A password followed by approval from a registered authenticator app on the user's phone. E. A fingerprint followed by use of a registered FIDO2 security key. MFA requires evidence from two or more distinct factor categories, such as something you know, something you have, or something you are. Password plus authenticator possession and biometric plus security key possession each combine distinct categories. Question 19. A records management team needs to apply varying retention periods to individual documents inside the same SharePoint library. Ensure the retention settings travel with content when it is moved within the tenant. Support starting the retention clock from an event such as contract expiration. And enable marking items as records with disposition review before deletion. Which Purview mechanism provides item-level granularity with these travel, event-based, and records capabilities? Answer A. Microsoft Purview retention policies. Answer B. Microsoft Purview eDiscovery holds. Answer C. Microsoft Purview records management. Answer D. Microsoft Purview retention labels. Lock in your answer. D satisfies the requirement. Microsoft Purview retention labels. Retention labels, via label policies, operate at the individual item level, travel with the content when moved inside the tenant, support event triggers for the retention period, allow marking as records, and provide disposition review workflows, capabilities not available in broad container-level retention policies or in sensitivity/DLP tools. Item-level application plus content travels with label plus event-based start plus records plus disposition review, uniquely identifies retention labels/label policies. Policies are container level and non-traveling. Sensitivity is protection only. DLP is monitoring/enforcement. Question 20. As organizations adopt SaaS applications, remote work, and distributed services, users, workloads, devices, and agent identities access resources from locations and networks the organization cannot inherently trust. Which security principle makes verification of who or what is requesting access and authorization of what it may do the central control for each access decision? Answer A. Identity as the primary security perimeter. Answer B. Defense in depth across multiple control layers. Answer C. Shared responsibility between the provider and customer. Answer D. Network segmentation with trusted internal network boundaries. Lock in your answer. Identity as the primary security perimeter means that authentication and authorization of users, workloads, devices, and agent identities become the fundamental controls for access decisions when resources are no longer confined to a fixed network location. The supported choice is A, identity as the primary security perimeter. If a request can originate from anywhere, focus on who or what is requesting access and what that identity is authorized to do, not whether it came from a trusted network location. Zero Trust is a related security model, but it is a separate SC-900 objective. Question 21. An organization needs continuous discovery of software vulnerabilities across Windows, macOS, Linux, and mobile devices, with prioritization that factors in active exploitation in the wild, business-critical assets, and EDR correlation for active breaches, plus built-in workflows to create in-tune remediation tasks. Which capability provides risk-based, intelligent prioritization and remediation tracking, distinct from broader cloud posture recommendations? Answer A. Microsoft Defender for cloud security recommendations. Answer B. Microsoft Defender Vulnerability Management. Answer C. Microsoft Secure Score. Answer D. Microsoft Purview Data Loss Prevention. Lock in your answer. Defender Vulnerability Management provides dedicated, continuous asset discovery, risk-based prioritization using threat intel and business context, and remediation tracking that integrates with Intune, distinct from general Defender for Cloud Posture or EDR runtime focus. The decisive answer is B, Microsoft Defender Vulnerability Management. Continuous asset discovery plus risk-based prioritization. Exploitability plus business context plus EDR correlation plus Intune remediation distinguishes vulnerability management from posture recommendations, SIM, or EDR runtime detection. Question 22. A security team wants to prevent users from setting easily guessable passwords that are common in password spray attacks, using normalization, fuzzy matching against a global banned list derived from real telemetry, and custom organization terms. Which Microsoft Entra capability enforces this during password changes and resets? Answer A. Microsoft Entra conditional access policies that evaluate sign-in risk and require MFA or block access based on location or device state. Answer B. Microsoft Entra ID protection user risk policies that detect leaked credentials and force password changes via conditional access. Answer C. Microsoft Entra password protection that applies global and custom banned password lists with normalization and fuzzy matching during password changes and resets. Answer D. Microsoft Entra Smart Lockout. Lock in your answer. Option A is tempting, but conditional access evaluates signals at sign-in time for access decisions. It does not validate password strength during creation or reset. Choose C, Microsoft Entra Password Protection, that applies global and custom banned password lists with normalization and fuzzy matching during password changes and resets. Password protection specifically blocks weak/banned passwords at change/reset time, using banned lists and fuzzy matching. It operates independently of conditional access risk evaluation or sign-in lockout mechanisms. You have completed 22 questions. Take a breath, reset your attention, and continue when you are ready. In the remaining scenarios, keep tracing who acts, what is protected, where the control applies, and which Microsoft service boundary satisfies the exact requirement. Question 23. A compliance team needs to identify potential insider activity, such as unusual data exfiltration by departing employees, correlate multiple indicators, including HR events, generate risk-scored alerts, and investigate cases before escalating to eDiscovery when needed. Which Microsoft Purview solution provides this workflow? Answer A, Microsoft Purview eDiscovery. Answer B, Microsoft Purview Audit. Answer C, Microsoft Purview Data Loss Prevention. Answer D, Microsoft Purview Insider Risk Management. Lock in your answer. Microsoft Purview Insider Risk Management uses policies and indicators to identify potentially risky user activity, generate alerts, and support triage and case investigation. User-centric risk scoring from multiple behavioral and HR indicators, followed by alert triage and insider risk cases, points to insider risk management. Choose D, Microsoft Purview Insider Risk Management. It can incorporate HR-related events and connect to other compliance workflows while preserving user privacy controls. Question 24. A user enters a username and password at a sign-in prompt, then receives a push notification on their Authenticator app to approve the sign-in. Which fundamental security concept does this sequence primarily demonstrate? Answer A, authentication, the process of proving an identity claim using one or more factors, something you know plus something you have. Answer B, authorization, determining what resources and actions the verified identity is permitted to access after sign-in. Answer C, conditional access, evaluating signals such as location, device compliance, and risk to grant or block access. Answer D, privileged identity management, providing just-in-time activation of elevated roles with approval workflows. Lock in your answer. Proving identity claim with multiple factors, password plus authenticator. Distinguishes authentication from authorization, what you can do. Conditional access, policy decisions, or PIM, JIT privileged access. Authentication is the act of verifying who you are through factors like password, no, and authenticator push, have. The supported response is A, authentication, the process of proving an identity claim using one or more factors, something you know plus something you have. Authorization, conditional access, and PIM occur after or around the verification step. Question 25. A threat hunter needs to enrich suspicious entities with threat intelligence context and explore actor profiles and related indicators within the Defender portal. Which two experiences in Microsoft Threat Intelligence provide this capability? Choose two. Answer A, Threat Intelligence Insights with Entity Enrichments. Answer B, Microsoft Sentinel Threat Intelligence Feeds. Answer C, Intelligence Explorer for Intel profiles and threat actor or threat infrastructure investigation. Answer D, Intel projects for organizing indicators. Answer E, Defender Portal Threat Analytics widgets. Lock in your answer. The two supported choices are A and C. A, Threat Intelligence Insights with Entity Enrichments. C, Intelligence Explorer for Intel profiles and threat actor or threat infrastructure investigation. Current Microsoft Learn identifies two primary Microsoft threat intelligence experiences in the Defender portal: Threat Intelligence Insights Entity Enrichments, Preview, and Intelligence Explorer for Intel profiles and indicator exploration, entity enrichments via threat intelligence insights, and profile/indicator exploration via Intelligence Explorer are the current converged experiences. The legacy standalone Microsoft Threat Intelligence Portal and legacy Intel Explorer experience retire on August 1st, 2026. The keyed experiences here are the integrated Defender portal surfaces. Question 26. A finance team requires that members must complete MFA and access a specific SaaS app only from compliant devices or trusted locations, with automatic blocking for high-risk sign-ins. The control must combine multiple real-time signals into an enforceable if-then decision. Which Entra capability implements this signal-based access policy engine? Answer A, Microsoft Entra Role-Based Access Control, RBAC. Answer B, Microsoft Entra Conditional Access. Answer C, Microsoft Entra Privileged Identity Management, PIM. Answer D, Microsoft Entra Security Defaults. Lock in your answer. Option A is tempting, but Entra RBAC assigns permissions to manage Entra resources, users, groups, apps, via fixed role definitions and scopes. It does not evaluate real-time signals or apply dynamic access policies. The supported response is B, Microsoft Entra Conditional Access. Conditional Access is Microsoft's Zero Trust policy engine that aggregates signals, user/group, IP location, device compliance, application, real-time risk, to evaluate if-then statements and enforce grant or block decisions after first-factor authentication. Question 27. Legal needs to identify people of interest and relevant data sources, place legal holds on mailboxes and sites, collect content into review sets for tagging and analytics, then export only responsive items for external litigation. Which Purview solution delivers this complete case-based workflow? Answer A, Microsoft Purview Audit. Answer B, Microsoft Purview Insider Risk Management. Answer C, Microsoft Purview eDiscovery. Answer D, Microsoft Purview Data Loss Prevention. Lock in your answer. The answer is C, Microsoft Purview eDiscovery. Microsoft Purview eDiscovery provides case-based workflows to identify people and data sources, preserve content with holds, search and collect content, review and analyze review sets, and export responsive items. Legal holds, case-scoped searches, review sets, tagging, analytics, and export point to Microsoft Purview eDiscovery. In the current experience, the case is the primary organizing unit. Custodians were a primary component in prior versions. Question 28. A SOC requires one interface to triage correlated incidents that span endpoint detections, identity sign-in risks, email threats, and cloud app activities, plus centralized recommendations and secure score. Which portal serves as the primary unified security operations hub? Answer A, Microsoft Purview Portal. Answer B, Azure Portal. Answer C, Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Answer D, Microsoft Defender Portal. Lock in your answer. Unified interface for correlated XDR incidents, recommendations, and exposure management across endpoint, identity, email, and cloud apps. Identifies the Defender Portal. The Microsoft Defender Portal, security.microsoft.com, is the unified SecOps hub that correlates incidents across Defender XDR products. Endpoint, identity, Office 365, cloud apps, provides recommendations, secure score, and exposure management in one interface. Select D, Microsoft Defender Portal. Question 29. Match each administrative requirement with the access control mechanism that supplies the decisive scope or activation behavior. Item 1. Grant a directory administrator a built-in role across the entire Microsoft Entra tenant. Item 2. Let a regional help desk manage only users and groups assigned to its organizational segment. Item 3. Grant an operations team permission to manage virtual machines in one Azure subscription. Item 4. Make a highly privileged directory role eligible for approved, time-limited activation instead of permanently active. Description 1. Microsoft Entra PIM-eligible assignment. Description 2. Azure RBAC assignment at subscription scope. Description 3. Microsoft Entra role assignment at tenant scope. Description 4. Microsoft Entra role scoped to an administrative unit. Lock in your answer. Here is the completed map. Item 1 maps to Microsoft Entra role assignment at tenant scope. Item 2 maps to Microsoft Entra role scoped to an administrative unit. Item 3 maps to Azure RBAC assignment at subscription scope. Item 4 maps to Microsoft Entra PIM-eligible assignment. Whole directory, tenant-scoped Entra role. Organizational subset, administrative unit. Azure resources, Azure RBAC. Temporary privilege, PIM. Microsoft Entra roles govern directory resources and can be tenant-wide or scoped to administrative units for supported roles. Question 30. An internal audit team needs to search the unified audit log for user and administrator activities across Microsoft 365 services, filter the records, and export selected results for investigation. Which Microsoft Purview solution provides this activity search capability? Answer A, Microsoft Purview Audit. Answer B, Microsoft Purview eDiscovery Content Search. Answer C, Microsoft Purview Insider Risk Management. Answer D, Microsoft Purview Compliance Manager. Lock in your answer. Microsoft Purview Audit captures searchable user and administrator activity records across supported Microsoft 365 services. The best fit is A, Microsoft Purview Audit. Searching who performed which activity and when across Microsoft 365 points to Microsoft Purview Audit, not content search or risk scoring. Investigators can filter and export audit results, while available retention and advanced investigation features depend on the audit offering and licensing. Question 31. In Azure applications, public IP resources are being overwhelmed by large SYN and UDP floods. Which Azure service is designed for always-on Layer 3 and Layer 4 monitoring and automatic mitigation of volumetric and protocol attacks at the Azure edge? Answer A, Azure Web Application Firewall, WAF, on Application Gateway. Answer B, Azure DDoS protection with adaptive real-time tuning. Answer C, Azure Firewall with threat intelligence feeds. Answer D, Azure Network Security Groups, NSGs, applied at the subnet level. Lock in your answer. Azure DDoS protection is designed to monitor and mitigate large Layer 3 and Layer 4 attacks against protected Azure public IP resources. Large volumetric or protocol floods against Azure public IPs point to DDoS protection. HTTP exploits point to WAF. The supported response is B, Azure DDoS protection with adaptive real-time tuning. WAF addresses web layer exploits. Firewall performs stateful network filtering, and NSGs enforce distributed allow-deny rules. Question 32. An enterprise needs HR-driven identity lifecycle automation, access packages with business approvals and expiration, and recurring reviews of employee and guest access. Which Microsoft Entra capability provides this combined identity and access governance? Answer A, Microsoft Entra Conditional Access Policy Engine. Answer B, Microsoft Entra Privileged Identity Management, PIM. Answer C, Microsoft Entra ID Governance. Answer D, Microsoft Entra ID Protection Risk Detection. Lock in your answer. Microsoft Entra ID Governance combines lifecycle workflows, entitlement management, access packages, approvals, expiration, and access reviews for workforce and guest access. The decisive answer is C, Microsoft Entra ID Governance. Identity lifecycle workflows, plus access packages and recurring access reviews, identify Entra ID governance. Question 33. An external auditor requires the most recent SOC 2 Type 2, ISO IEC 27001, and FedRAMP documentation to evaluate Microsoft's controls for the organization's cloud workloads. Which Microsoft resource supplies these audit reports and compliance artifacts, and for protected materials requires sign-in with a Microsoft Entra organization account and acceptance of the Microsoft NDA for compliance materials? Answer A. Microsoft Compliance Manager for customer risk assessments. Answer B. Microsoft Purview portal for data classification and DLP. Answer C. Microsoft Trust Center for product marketing overviews. Answer D. Microsoft Service Trust Portal, STP, for third-party audit reports. Lock in your answer. Option A is tempting, but Compliance Manager is a customer-facing tool inside Purview for performing assessments, tracking improvement actions, and calculating a compliance score. It does not host Microsoft audit reports. The supported response is D, Microsoft Service Trust Portal, STP, for third-party audit reports. The Service Trust Portal is Microsoft's public site for audit reports and compliance information about Microsoft Cloud services. It includes reports produced by external auditors and Microsoft-authored white papers. Some protected resources require sign-in with a Microsoft Entra organization account, an eligible cloud subscription or trial, and acceptance of the Microsoft NDA for compliance materials. Question 34. A security team needs a centrally managed Azure Network Security Service that performs stateful inspection of both east-west and north-south traffic at layers 3 through 7, incorporates Microsoft Threat Intelligence, and allows consistent policy application across multiple virtual networks and subscriptions. Which two characteristics accurately describe Azure Firewall in meeting these requirements? Choose two. Answer A. Applies distributed allow and deny rules through NSG associations on subnets and network interfaces. Answer B. Provides managed stateful network filtering with built-in availability and cloud scalability. Answer C. Applies OWASP web application rules through Application Gateway or Front Door. Answer D. Applies policy independently at each network interface through NSG rule priorities. Answer E. Supports centralized policy deployment across networks and subscriptions through Azure Firewall Manager. Lock in your answer. B and E work together here. B. Provides managed stateful network filtering with built-in availability and cloud scalability. E. Supports centralized policy deployment across networks and subscriptions through Azure Firewall Manager. Azure Firewall is a managed stateful network security service. Stateful L3, L7 managed service with high availability / scalability plus central policy management via Firewall Manager, distinct from NSGs and WAF, identifies Azure Firewall capabilities. Azure Firewall Manager supports centralized policy management across multiple networks and subscriptions. Question 35. Compliance requires managers to recertify membership in sensitive groups and privileged roles every quarter, document the decision, and remove access when reviewers deny continued need. Which Microsoft Entra capability implements this recurring attestation workflow? Answer A. Microsoft Entra access reviews with recurring attestation. Answer B. Microsoft Entra Privileged Identity Management, PIM, just-in-time activation. Answer C. Microsoft Entra Entitlement Management access packages. Answer D. Microsoft Entra Conditional Access risk-based policies. Lock in your answer. Recurring reviewer attestation and application of deny decisions identify access reviews. Microsoft Entra Access Reviews support recurring attestation of group membership, application access, and role assignments. Select A. Microsoft Entra Access Reviews with recurring attestation. Review decisions are recorded and can be applied to remove access that is no longer approved. Question 36. A prospective Microsoft Cloud customer asks which statement accurately reflects Microsoft's privacy principles for commercial customer data. Which response should the architect provide? Answer A. Customer content may be used for targeted advertising when analytics is enabled. Answer B. Customers control their data and receive transparency, security, and third-party access protections. Answer C. Privacy commitments begin after the customer retrieves Service Trust Portal evidence. Answer D. Using Microsoft SaaS makes Microsoft responsible for the customer's privacy governance decisions. Lock in your answer. Select B. Customers control their data and receive transparency, security, and third-party access protections. Microsoft's commercial cloud privacy approach emphasizes customer control, transparency about where data is located and how it is used, security at rest and in transit, and protection from third-party access. Customer control, transparency, security, third-party protection, and no advertising use are the relevant Microsoft privacy principles. Microsoft states that customer data is not used for advertising, profiling, or market research. Question 37. A public-facing e-commerce application running behind Azure Application Gateway requires protection against common web exploits, such as SQL injection, cross-site scripting, and bot attacks, using managed OWASP rule sets and bot management, with policies that can be tuned and applied directly to the HTTPS traffic at the application layer. Which Azure capability delivers this specialized L7 web application protection? Answer A, Azure Firewall. Answer B, Azure DDoS protection. Answer C, Azure Web Application Firewall. Answer D, Network Security Groups. Lock in your answer. Azure WAF is the managed Layer 7 solution for protecting web applications against common attacks such as SQL injection and cross-site scripting. L7 OWASP rule sets and bot management on Application Gateway or Front Door for web app protection. The decisive answer is C, Azure Web Application Firewall. In this scenario, it runs on Application Gateway with managed rule sets and bot protection. It is distinct from the broader network filtering of Azure Firewall and the Layer 3-4 focus of DDoS protection and NSGs. Question 38. An organization wants global administrator permissions to remain inactive by default and become available only through an approved, audited, time-limited activation instead of permanent standing access. Which Microsoft Entra capability provides this model? Answer A, Microsoft Entra Conditional Access. Answer B, Microsoft Entra ID Protection. Answer C, Microsoft Entra Access Reviews. Answer D, Microsoft Entra PIM. Lock in your answer. Microsoft Entra PIM provides eligible assignments and just-in-time activation for privileged roles, with configurable requirements such as approval, MFA, justification, time limits, notifications, and audit history. The answer is D, Microsoft Entra PIM. Eligible privileged role plus approved time-limited activation identifies PIM. Question 39. A cloud architect must organize web, application, and data workloads into separate private address spaces and subnets, connect selected segments through peering, and provide private access to PaaS services. NSGs and firewalls will separately enforce the allowed paths. Which Azure construct provides this underlying network segmentation structure? Answer A, Azure Virtual Network. Answer B, Network Security Groups. Answer C, Azure Firewall. Answer D, Azure Private Link. Lock in your answer. Option B is tempting, but NSGs are the enforcement mechanism, ACLs, applied within VNet/subnet boundaries, but do not create the segmentation boundaries themselves. A satisfies the requirement, Azure Virtual Network. Azure Virtual Network provides private address spaces, subnets, peering, and integration with private endpoints. These constructs organize workloads into network segments, but Azure can route traffic between connected segments. NSGs, routes, and firewalls are required to enforce restrictions. Question 40. Which two capabilities are native to Microsoft Entra ID protection? Choose two. Answer A. Detect identity risk and assign sign-in risk or user risk levels. Answer B. Require MFA through a conditional access policy that uses sign-in risk. Answer C. Generate hybrid identity alerts from domain controller sensors. Answer D. Provide investigation views for risky users, risky sign-ins, and risk detections. Answer E. Create eligible privileged role assignments through PIM. Lock in your answer. Identity risk scoring plus risky user and risky sign-in investigation views are native ID protection capabilities. Microsoft Entra ID protection detects identity-related risk and presents risky users, risky sign-ins, and risk detections for investigation. A and D work together here. A. Detect identity risk and assign sign-in risk or user risk levels. D. Provide investigation views for risky users, risky sign-ins, and risk detections. Its risk information can then be used by access policies, but PIM, endpoint response, and DLP are separate capabilities. Question 41. A DevOps team needs distributed, stateful Layer 3/4 allow and deny rules applied directly to Azure subnets and network interfaces. Rules should use sources, destinations, ports, protocols, service tags, and application security groups rather than a centralized firewall appliance. Which Azure capability should it use? Answer A. Azure Firewall deployed in a dedicated subnet with centralized policy and threat intelligence feeds. Answer B. Network security groups, NSGs, containing inbound-outbound rules evaluated by priority at subnet or network interface level. Answer C. Azure Web Application Firewall policies attached to Application Gateway for L7 HTTP/S rule sets and bot management. Answer D. Azure DDoS protection for volumetric and protocol attacks at the Azure Edge. Lock in your answer. Distributed stateful Layer 3/4 rules on subnets or NICs identify NSGs. Centralized policy and threat inspection identify Azure Firewall. Network security groups provide stateful Layer 3/4 traffic filtering through prioritized inbound and outbound rules associated with subnets or network interfaces. Choose B. Network security groups, NSGs, containing inbound-outbound rules evaluated by priority at subnet or network interface level. Service tags and application security groups simplify rule definitions. Question 42. Match each remote administration requirement with the Azure capability that provides the decisive function. Item 1. Open managed browser-based RDP or SSH sessions to private IP virtual machines over TLS. Item 2. Temporarily expose a management port only after an approved just-in-time request. Item 3. Provide private client-to-network or network-to-network connectivity into Azure. Item 4. Filter Layer 3 and Layer 4 traffic at a subnet or network interface. Description 1. Network Security Group. Description 2. Azure VPN Gateway. Description 3. Microsoft Defender for Cloud Just-in-Time VM Access. Description 4. Azure Bastion. Lock in your answer. Connect each requirement to its matching concept. Item 1 maps to Azure Bastion. Item 2 maps to Microsoft Defender for Cloud Just-in-Time VM Access. Item 3 maps to Azure VPN Gateway. Item 4 maps to Network Security Group. Managed RDP SSH proxy equals Bastion. Temporary port exposure equals JIT. Private connectivity equals VPN gateway. Subnet NIC filtering equals NSG. Azure Bastion provides managed RDP SSH access to private IP VMs. Question 43. An application needs one Azure service to centrally store secrets, certificates, and encryption keys, use HSM-protected keys when required, control access through Azure RBAC, and protect deleted vault objects through soft delete and purge protection. Which service provides these capabilities? Answer A, Azure Managed Identities. Answer B, Microsoft Defender for Key Vault. Answer C, Azure Key Vault. Answer D, Azure Disk Encryption. Lock in your answer. Azure Key Vault centrally manages secrets, keys, and certificates. The decisive answer is C, Azure Key Vault. Central secret, certificate, and cryptographic key management with optional HSM protection identifies Azure Key Vault. It supports Azure RBAC, recovery protections such as soft delete and purge protection, and tiers that provide software-protected or HSM-protected keys. Question 44. A multi-cloud security team wants one Microsoft platform that combines cloud security posture assessment, recommendations, and attack path context, with workload-specific threat protection for resources such as servers and containers. Which service provides this integrated cloud security experience? Answer A, Microsoft Sentinel. Answer B, Microsoft Defender XDR. Answer C, Microsoft Purview. Answer D, Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Lock in your answer. Microsoft Defender for Cloud combines cloud security posture management with workload-specific protection capabilities for supported resources across Azure and connected environments. Cloud posture management plus workload threat protection across connected environments identifies Defender for Cloud. The supported choice is D, Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Sentinel is SIEM SOAR. Defender XDR correlates cross-domain incidents, and Purview focuses on data governance and compliance. Question 45. An organization needs continuous agentless discovery of cloud resources across Azure/AWS/GCP. Assessment against security standards such as the Microsoft Cloud Security Benchmark, generation of prioritized recommendations, calculation of an overall secure score, and governance rules to assign remediation tasks at scale, without deploying agents for the core configuration assessment layer. Which capability within Microsoft Defender for Cloud specifically provides this agentless posture assessment and improvement workflow? Answer A, Cloud Security Posture Management, CSPM, delivering continuous configuration assessment, recommendations, secure score, and governance across multi-cloud environments. Answer B, Cloud Workload Protection, CWPP, plans providing runtime threat detection, EDR, vulnerability assessment, and just-in-time access on servers and containers. Answer C, the full Microsoft Defender for Cloud platform, including both posture and workload protection capabilities. Answer D, Microsoft Sentinel analytics rules ingesting posture findings to create incidents and trigger automated response playbooks. Lock in your answer. Select A, Cloud Security Posture Management, CSPM, delivering continuous configuration assessment, recommendations, secure score, and governance across multi-cloud environments. CSPM is the posture-focused capability within Defender for Cloud. Agentless configuration assessment, recommendations, secure score, and posture governance identify CSPM rather than workload runtime protection. It discovers and assesses cloud configurations, evaluates resources against standards, produces recommendations and secure score, and supports posture governance workflows. CWPP addresses workload runtime protection, while Sentinel consumes signals for SIEM and SOAR. You have completed all 45 questions in SC-900 Practice Exam 3. You practice security concepts, identity boundaries, defender capabilities, Purview compliance solutions, governance controls, and zero trust decisions across applied scenarios. Review the distinctions you missed, then return to the objectives with stronger decision rules. Thanks for practicing with WebLizard Labs and WebLizard CertLab. Continue reviewing the SC-900 objectives when you are ready. Your score matters less than whether you can explain why the supported answer fits the exact requirement.